WWE Elimination Chamber was already a week ago, and you might be wondering why it took me this long to come up with a video. Well, I decided to go through all the matches that would have been on a usual card, the title matches from Raw, and add them to the list, and there are a few more tonight on SmackDown, so I figure I will preview those as I'm unable to watch the show tonight. But we will get started with the show of Elimination Chamber, which kicked off with the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which was really, really good. I think this match was diluted, I guess, by the fact that there were a lot of other great things on the show. But this match was a great way to kick it off. It was a very physical chamber with a lot of violence rather than story in certain parts of the match. I'm not saying there wasn't story, but it alternated from story, violence, relatively consistently, especially when it comes to Liv and Bianca's antics nearing the end. Speaking of Liv and Bianca, there was the sequence where Bianca kept getting whipped into the wall by Liv like 80 times over, which was really fun, and Liv getting thwacked by Bianca's braid when she was attempting to climb the cage. So overall, a very physical, very entertaining match that had a great angle with Jade Cargill and Naomi, which culminated in a good win for Bianca. Now, most of us expected to see Bianca versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, as that did seem to be the easy leeway to go. However, it was found out on Raw that, in fact, that is not the case, as Io Sky defeated Rhea Ripley for that women's world title. I may as well get this one out of the way now, as it's the only other match I'm going to be covering that's not on the actual show itself. So this was a very entertaining match between two talented performers, one that I think a lot of people expected Rhea to win. However, we're not mad that Io ended up winning. It was a surprise to see because Rhea doesn't get pinned. It's very rare to see her pinned and lose a match, especially clean, which is what happened here. Now, technically, Bianca did get a little bit involved and push Rhea, but that dilutes the point. Io Sky is the women's world champion, something that she should always strive to be and is talented to be for years and years ahead of us now. So this is not necessarily bad. It was great. And even though I like Rhea, I like Io, I do prefer Io as champion because she gives a bit more, she could lose the belt rather than Rhea, who it doesn't seem will be losing the belt in most of her matchups. Although we did see that she can in fact lose and be pinned. So maybe this will change the narrative going forward. Anyways, we move on with the actual Elimination Chamber show, which followed up with Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton going up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. This match was simple. It was, we are in Toronto. Trish Stratus is from Toronto. Let's put her in a showcase match, include some stars in a storyline that we're running right now, and get a big babyface win. Simple enough, and that's exactly what they did. Trish Stratus, Tiffany Stratton, beat Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Nia Jax gets pinned by Tiffany Stratton. That was really entertaining to see. It was perfectly fine. Nothing absurd, nothing terrible, and there were a few good spots here and there to keep it invigorating. And there wasn't a Charlotte Flair appearance, which I think was a bit of a surprise, especially to me. I predicted it after all. But I do think it actually helped the segment rather than hurt it with her veteran presence not being there. And as I said, it was only there for Trish to get a good moment. And while that is what it was intended to be, it did end up being at least a bit more than that and somewhat competent to hold up at the very least. We followed that up with Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in an unsanctioned match. Whew, there is a lot to cover in this unsanctioned match, let me say. So, we get started with violence. We finish with violence, and Randy Orton appears at the end. We followed that up with the men's No, I'm kidding. So let's actually delve a little bit deeper into this matchup. So Sami Zayn is coming into this match. He's got a neck injury. What's Kevin Owens going to do? Exploit that neck injury and mostly attack it throughout the match. And there are countless absurdly painful looking spots in this matchup. Sami Zayn goes flying over the top rope, onto a table, two tables, onto the floor. Kevin Owens takes another mysteriously painful bump, but somehow survives. Actually, both of them end up doing that. In my predictions video, I said something to the effect of Sami's going to take the underhook pile driver on a ladder and kick out because it's Sami Zayn, then get hit with a normal move and lose. That is exactly what happened in this match, so I just know my Sami Zayn matches, I guess. Either way, Kevin Owens did end up winning in the end, and we got to see the return of Randy Orton, as I mentioned. He RKO'd everybody on the scene, other than Sami, of course, and was happy. It was nice to see him back after so long. He is magically more jacked than before. somehow. Overall, the match was really, really good, and Dave Meltzer even gave it 5 stars in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, even though his opinion is not particularly liked by most. It's something to say, at least, that it was able to get 5 out of Dave. Then finally, the segment I think that was obviously the most interesting, the Men's Elimination Chamber, and consequently, the Cody Rhodes, Rock, John Cena segment. We'll start with the chamber match itself, which was really good. Not as good as the women's, in my opinion, but the end sequence was miles away better than the women's matchup. So as a whole, I think they were equivalent, probably with the men slightly above it, but it was a very close toss up in my mind, especially now having the thought process over the few days, because I'm trying to cut the match itself from the angle after the fact. And if you cut that angle, the match is good, but I just don't think it is like stellar. I'm not actually. Let me nix what I just said. Both chamber matches are stellar. The men's is slightly above the women's. Overall, the women's is better, and the men's had a better moment and better moments, period. Back to what I was saying about the men's elimination chamber. It's a really entertaining match with a elimination order that was a bit strange, but in a sense, not really, because we saw Drew go out first, which is the story they've been running all year. Then Damian, not surprising. Logan, not surprising. Seth, not surprising. And then it came down to Punk and Cena. But if we go through all the spots in the middle there, Logan Paul hit a great frog splash off at the top of a pod, got his yearly 1 elimination in the match, and then got bounced. It was just a great sequence all in all. I can't say anything really particularly bad about the match other than the fact that it was one of those matches where you know the guys that aren't winning. You might not know who's going to win, but you know who's not winning. And that's Logan's not winning. Seth's not winning, even with that promo on Raw. Damian's not winning. And then I think Drew, Punk, and Cena were the only 3 real options. And I think Drew, even then, it's a bit debatable. I don't think he was winning either. So it was Punk or Cena in my head, and it wasn't really a debate between those two. And that's something that you can kind of expect. Cena's last year, all that pizzazz. But I also think that it means the match itself gets a bit taken away from it, but I'm not saying that made the match bad in any way. It was just a side effect of how it was structured. So the match itself, as I said, really, really good. John Cena and CM Punk still have the best chemistry of all time. Then the match ended. Cena won. Punk left. And then we got the segment. The segment of the year, the segment of the decade, the segment of WWE history, maybe? And you can say Austin 316 is the best segment, but that's not a segment. That's a promo. You can say that there's some, like the Punk Colts, like Pipe Bomb. That brain farted on what that was called. Pipe Bomb is the best one. And I would say that's probably true, but it's also a promo. It's not a segment. A segment means it's not one person talking. A segment is there's multiple people conversing, like playing back and forth between each other. And this is, in my mind, the best segment in WWE history. If you haven't heard of it, somehow I would be stunned. So I'm not going to go into absurd detail. You probably know most of it. But we see The Rock. We see John Cena. We see Cody Rhodes. Rock comes out. Cody. I got to get my voice deep and a little gravelly. Cody, what have you decided? And Cody's like, Rock. Swear word that I'm not going to say for the sake of demonetization, even though I don't make money. Anyways, yourself. Bang, whoa, crowd pop. Cena going, yeah, in the background, woohoo. And then Cody and Cena are like, yeah, let's go. Bang, low blow. Oh, just beautiful. The Rock doing just a quick little, perfectly executed. You could have seen it from a mile away. You could not have seen it from a mile away. It's just so well done seeing Cena turn heel after 25 years in the business. I know it's not 25, but it feels like it's close enough. So bravo, WWE. Bravo. Just perfection. We will see where it goes on SmackDown because Cody is on SmackDown tonight. I don't know what he's going to say, what he's going to talk about, or anything to that sort. Likely what happened at Elimination Chamber, and he'll probably announce something for the future. We don't know what that's going to be yet, but still, he's going to do something. Meanwhile, there are 2 matches coming up on this SmackDown. Other than that Cody Rhodes segment, I'll just quickly go through. There's LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the U.S. title. I don't really know anything about this story. I haven't been watching consistently. I watch pay-per-views and I watch like lead-up shows, but I just didn't watch anything about LA and Shinsuke somehow. Knowing this, it's probably going to be LA, but I have no idea. There was one title change this week, so I find it unlikely there's going to be another one. But I like LA Knight, and Shinsuke Nakamura is somewhat washed. So maybe they can build this feud into Mania. We'll see where it goes. Either way, LA wins the U.S. title, and Chelsea Green, for roughly the 5,754th time, successfully defends it against Michin, because every single title defense that she has ever had, I think, is against Michin. Matter of fact, let me look that up. If I were to go on cagematch.net, because it's a very helpful resource when I'm making these videos, I must say, and we look at matches. Let us see. United. To look up United States title, she has defeated Bianca Belair and Blair Davenport, triple threat in the tournament, Bayley in the semifinal, Michin in the tournament final, Michin in the trash can fight, Michin in another fight that I don't know by DQ, and that's it. Yeah. She has beaten Michin for the title 3 times and faces her again a 4th time coming up soon. And let's see. So she won the title on December 14th. Let us see how many matches she has had with Michin since that date. They have had those 2 matches, a tag match, the Royal Rumble, and now this match on SmackDown. This feud might be getting a bit overplayed, am I right? And it's a street fight, if I didn't say that already. So who knows what's going to happen, But as I was saying, this is a very, very good show, Elimination Chamber. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. The matches around it in Raw and SmackDown are also really good. This has reinvigorated or relighted a spark going into Mania that I don't think a lot of people had. So we will see where this ends up. Make sure you have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future videos on the channel. And goodbye.